January 9th. It's overcast right now, but it's actually 45 degrees out today. It was sunny for most of the day. I'm out here walking out to the apiary. The dogs are all out. I only got one next to me. I'll probably have to yell for them soon to see where they're at. And I'm actually carrying a tote full of sugar bricks because it's warm enough for me to pop the tops on the hives real quick. I got quilt boxes on all of them, so it's just a simple matter of getting down to the 1/8-inch hardware cloth that's there, making sure they got some supplemental feed if they need it, and close them right back up. I'll be able to check and see if there's any dead outs and such as well. Normally I'd make use of the four-wheeler to come out here, but I wanted to be able to talk. Also, speaking of talking, if I cough or have any fits, I've been sick for about a week and a half, and I'm getting over it now. I've been on antibiotics and such, but man, I haven't been that sick in years. I was laid out in bed for 4 days straight almost. So, at any rate, this gives me a little bit of chance before I get out to the apiary to let you know some pretty big news for 2026. You might notice that when I post this video to YouTube, that the channel page, the name has changed. Well, that's because the business name has changed. I've relaunched and I've rebranded. And as much as I loved and do love Raven Creek Homestead, the beautiful logo that my stepbrother had designed for me, and really just learning as that business grew and the people that supported it, I'm all very blessed for all of that. But ultimately, that LLC, that company, was the brainchild of myself and an ex. And I was very happy to carry that torch this whole time with that name, because I definitely helped come up with that name and everything as well. But I got some pretty big plans. And I wanted to relaunch with something that was completely mine from inception. So, as I'm getting close to the apiary here, you guys are gonna see there's now Blackwater Honey Forge, named in part for the Blackwater River here that runs through Merrimack Valley and through the town that I live in here in central New Hampshire. And then the Honey Forge, this is nature, and I always love what nature crafts and what it creates and its natural beauty. And the bees especially, they're gonna be forging me some honey, forging all of us some honey. And yeah, so that's my big goal, was to rebrand, relaunch, and as part of that, my small hobbyist apiary, which right now is at about 14 hives. I got plans to expand a lot this year. I want to get up to 30 or 40 hives this year, and I'm really going to be making an effort to be providing more local honey. I'm sick of running out every year. I eventually, maybe as early as this year, I want to be having the ability to sell off some extra nukes as well, because I experimented last year with queen breeding, with queen rearing, and I have the ability to make my own bees now. So I am going to be expanding this apiary. I am going to continue to provide value-added products, additional products with the beeswax. One new one that I really like a lot. I started making a beard balm that I really like, and I'll probably be doing some candles as well, some beeswax candles. But I'll get into a lot of that stuff. I'm also going to be doing an entire playlist on YouTube on going from hobbyist to sideliner and documenting that process and that journey and all the ins and outs and all of my plans. And you guys can all follow along on that. But I'm at the apiary now. I need my hands, so I'm gonna open up the fence and I'll get the camera repositioned and I'll see you guys in a minute. So we're also testing out today my new DJI mic that I got as well. So hopefully the audio is coming through crisp and clear. I'm also making use of a Christmas gift that I got, which is a selfie stick, which is what I was taking the video on now, but it's also convertible into a tripod. So now I can have it set up like this as well. Also sliced my finger wide open earlier this week, so don't do that. Don't reach into unknown snow that you were storing stuff in. There was some shattered glass and reached right into that. So I'm not too worried about the bees flying out because, like I said, and I'll show you in a minute, is I have 1/8 inch hardware cloth at the bottom of these quilt boxes. So let me open this up. I do want to be fairly quick about it, but I also want to show as well. I like show and tell. Some foam, some insulation, and I have a really good cluster, and I actually still have really good feed still on this hide, so they don't even need any of this sugar brick, which, by the way, I'll be going over this recipe and how to make it in a separate video as well. But I don't want to leave them open for too long, like I said, but all in here, and all little bee heads. And they got plenty of winter feed again, or still, I should say, not again. So they're looking good. I got some dead yellow jackets that never made it to feed. I guess it wouldn't hurt if I take one of, I had a little bit of extra sugar, so I actually put it in one of my silicone molds. I'll put that right there on top of those little bee faces. Then I'll get these guys buttoned back up, and I'll go down the line here. All right, I got one puppy. Where's the rest of y'all? All right. Let's get these gals buttoned back up. Nice, good cluster. I'm happy about that. Get this insulation back on. I actually might not even do some of this stuff next year. The insulation here, the fiberglass insulation, is to wick away extra moisture, but I've been looking a lot into the condensing hive method in theories, and I might just go with the rigid foam, because that's gonna stop a lot of the condensation from reaching the bees anyway, and what is there, it'll dissipate to the edges and the sides, and the bees will be able to actually use that as a water source, where at the moment, if it's all soaked up into fiberglass insulation, it doesn't give them the excess water that they can drink during the winter. Get this all back on here, get my bricks back on, and let's keep going down the line. So it is starting to cool pretty quick, so I'm gonna move fairly fast. But yeah, so I have to expand this apiary as well. Currently not enough room for the amount of hives that I want to be able to carry. Oh yeah, another good looking cluster, active bees, happy. There's not even any space for more sugar on there. Now, going into winter, I make sure to feed them as well, and I try to make sure every hive, if it's a double deep, is over 100 pounds. I really do strive for about 120 pounds. I do have a scale that I can use to measure that as well, or sometimes what I'll do is I'll just do the heft test to just pick it up from the back. And you can really get a good sense on whether or not the hive is light or medium or needs to be fed. You know, you can gauge all that stuff. You just get all that through experience. Now, I have a couple of singles in this yard as well. They weren't, I did a combine on one of them. The other two, they were so-so, so we're gonna see. I'm sure I'm gonna have some losses this winter, but hopefully we don't have any today. Good cluster, packed with feed. That's really how quick that was. Would I have that open for 5 seconds, 7 seconds maybe? Take a quick peek in. At this point, my bucket with the sugar in it, it would probably take the longest part of this is walking back to that and getting some sugar out of it. I gotta build more hive stands. I got a lot I gotta do. I actually thought the business name was going to be different. Originally, I went for just the Honey Forge, but the problem with the Honey Forge is another gentleman in the state that actually has that, and I reached out and got consent from him and everything. Excellent gentleman, very, very kind, but the state rejected the letter of consent for specific reasons, and rather than keep bugging the guy, who was nice, just reworked it a little bit. Well, the problem with that I had already done a bunch of designs for the labeling and a logo and all kinds of stuff. So now I've had to I'm gonna have to rework all those designs. I don't, okay, I see one dog. Whee! Shh! Puppies! Come on now. They like to wander. Good cluster, a little bit short on food. These guys are gonna get a full piece of sugar brick. So this is why I'm glad that I'm out here checking today. Here you go, ladies. Enjoy. Also, gonna run an experiment this year. Probably gonna be getting rid of my inner covers. I think I'm just gonna go switch over, at least on some of them, and test it out to running either the Pro Deck insulation wrap as just a top square, or I'm gonna go and do the Reflectix as well. And again, that kind of supports the condensing hive theory. Also makes it cheaper as I get more equipment. If I don't have to buy an inner cover, then that's one less piece of hardware that I have to buy as well. So the intention with the YouTube channel, I'll probably be adding shorts to it as well. I don't know how far out of frame. Am I like this big on the screen? Anyway, the intention with the YouTube channel is it's where I'm going to be putting the long form videos. Probably do some shorts as well. I do have a Blackwater Honey Forge TikTok as well. Feel free to follow that. That's kind of more silly stuff. That's everything from the dogs to the bees to the ducks and chickens. Anything and everything. Me playing around on the tractor, all kinds of stuff. So feel free to do that. My Facebook channel, which I still need to switch over from Raven Creek Homestead to Blackwater Honey Forge, that'll be more kind of just for informational posts and maybe some shorts as well. I'm gonna try to keep everything long form here on YouTube. So if you like the idea of watching along and watching my journey there, subscribe. I'd love to have you. Good cluster, decent food. Let's see if I can move that brick aside a little bit and get another one on them. Actually thought I was gonna be putting a lot more sugar on these than I am. So anytime it's been a little bit warm this winter, I've been coming out and looking around at the snow. If I see dead bees and poop, kind of happy. It means they're out and about and flying and such. Also, when you're putting the sugar on the top of these, when you're putting the sugar on the hive bars, on the top bars or over the cluster, put it so that it's across the entire hive. So that way, let me show you what I mean. Let me explain why. So make sure the sugar goes across all of the top bars. And the reason for that is if you only have your feed over here and they run out, there's nowhere for the cluster to go. And you want to make sure the cluster has the ability to move all the way across and access feed everywhere, not just in one spot. As you see, I still have my, my frame feeders in as well. Let's go ahead and move the camera some. Anyway, I'm not looking teeny tiny. All right, ladies, button back up. Thank you very much for all of your diligence. We expect great things this year. I tend to talk to them pretty often. I don't think my voice helps, especially the amount that I stutter or mess up my words, but hey, you know what? If they get to know me, they get to know me as the guy that brings them candy, brings them food. Maybe they'll be a little less angry. I got one hive this year. That first one I opened up, hive number 1, that queen is gonna go. Man, that hive, oh, of course, it's kind of my fault. No, it was really my fault. I opened them up on a rainy day. They let me know they don't like the rain. And then from pretty much that day on, they pretty much let me know they didn't like me. Good cluster, big, man. I got like, this is 5, 6 frames of bees, the size of these clusters. There's some good there's some better YouTubers than me that do all of this one-handed and keep the camera and show you what's going on the whole time. So I'm sorry for, like, you know, the talking portion here without being able to show you much. But man, it is hard to do things one-handed in a bee yard. And for the folks that do that, hats off to you, because I have a hard time with it. I can finally see all 4 dogs. Yep, you heard that right, 4 dogs. We like everything here on the homestead. I still consider it a homestead. I'm not going to call it Raven Creek Homestead anymore, but I mean, we got all the animals. Wife told me the other day she wants goats. Not sure what I can do with goats. Can't make honey from goats. Can't make wax from goats. All right. For anyone that followed me at all last year, this is the infamous hive number 7. If this hive is alive, I'm going to be fairly flabbergasted, because this hive tried to murder itself probably, I don't know, 5+ times last year. Queen issues, supersedure issues, virgin queen issues, just tiny cluster, didn't want to grow. Let's see what we got. No, it's gone. They just weren't big enough. And there's still, I got sugar, I got hive alive on them, and I got a box full of dead bees. At that point, it was probably a case of the cluster being so small. I even got extra thick insulation on them, but it was probably a case of the cluster being so small that they just died due to exposure. We've had a very, very cold winter so far in New Hampshire. Breaks up bad. December's been terribly cold, and on top of that, we've had windstorm after windstorm after windstorm. And one of the things I'm going to be possibly phasing out as well is my screen bottom boards. I think I'm going to be going to a solid bottom board. On the screen bottom boards, I'd have to show you, but they're all blocked off with core board. The ones that aren't are actually blocked off with styrofoam insulation. But still, when I have cutting north winds and I don't have much of a windbreak here, I think that that's going right into the hives too. And if you have a cluster that's too small, it's a death sentence. You know, the bees are going to work their butts off to do everything they can, but they can only do so much. Actually don't have rigid foam insulation on that, so I'll steal it off the last hive there that's a dead out and put it on this one that has a really nice cluster in it. A little bit smaller, probably only 3 or 4 frames of bees. They're going to take one of the small things of sugar. That's those ladies right there. Go ahead and steal the rigid foam. And rather than keep you guys on camera for the other, six hives, I'll let you go. I'll let you know though. I'll grab some video walking back up with the pups, and let you know if I have any more dead outs. But so far, I only have one. It's not bad. Winter is definitely not over though. We got some ways to go. All right, heading back in. I only have that one dead out, hive 7. Everything else has bees in it. One of them, I couldn't really tell on the cluster. There's activity in it. I could hear them, but they might just not have moved up into the top box yet, or the cluster is really small. A couple of those hives actually only have feeder shims and not full-on quilt boxes. So when I went to go lift off the insulation, kind of got greeted by a face full of bees. So that's a good reminder. Make sure you know which ones have quilt boxes and which ones don't. So I got a couple more construction projects to do. A lot of construction projects to do. So I'm excited. I'm excited for 2026. I don't want to ramble too much, but I'll see you guys around. Welcome to Blackwater Honey Forge. Let's get to work.